Bimini. How many of you listening have ever been to Bimini? Well, I'm a Floridian. I've lived in South Florida almost all my life, and I have never been to Bimini. That was almost before I just went, though, on Resorts World Bimini. And I had so much fun. And I asked the director of marketing, David Black, to come on our show. And I guess it's director of sales. But for me, it's marketing. It's all the same. So, David, thank you for coming for the show. And thank you for allowing me to go to that beautiful Bimini, but on the great ship.
It was our pleasure to host you.
You had a lot of fun. Why don't you tell our audience what this was all about?
Well, last week we had our ribbon cutting ceremony for the opening of our port in Bimini, so known as Port Bimini. And we're also sailing out of Port Everglades starting October 14th. So we thought, well, we're just going to put the two events together. And we did a cruise out of Port Everglades on the last week, September 18th, sailing out 3 hours to Bimini. And we brought over yourself, a lot of other hospitality and travel agent professionals, meeting planners, wedding planners, that sort of thing, just so that they can really experience it for themselves. You know, how can you sell something without knowing, you know, what it feels like to touch it, to see it, and to smell it? So we had about 500 people on board the ship.
And it's so close. That's what I think is important, that it took us, we left at 9 in the morning out of Port Everglades, and we arrived there about noon.
Yes, we did.
And the sea was calm. It was gorgeous. Mm-hmm. The air conditioning worked. We got even a little extra cabin, which we purchased. And we went walking around. We had so much fun. You had very interesting guests. The food was fantastic. It was almost as though we were on a huge cruise ship.
Yeah, a lot of people are very surprised by our ship. I mean, it's a big ship. It holds about 1,500 passengers, 6 restaurants and bars, and a full casino on board. And as you mentioned, it has several cabins. Actually, right now, about 190 cabins on board. And the cabins vary in size. You know, you have your inside view, your ocean view cabins, and then we have some suites on board as well.
Well, when I go on a cruise, though, I really don't expect to stay in the room very much. And this, of course, was a short cruise. And I was even surprised you had the cabins. And it was nice for us just to relax. But I still would have loved it without the cabin. I just want to touch, though, on a few things. The most important thing, and it's with any place, whether you're in a hotel or even going to a restaurant, it's the way that the staff treats you. From the minute we got even into the Port Everglades, the immigration people were lovely. They greeted us. We walked through this lovely place. We walked right up into the ship. They were passing out champagne. Everyone was full of smiles. And I was wondering, I said to one of them, what do they feed you on this ship to have you all so happy?
Well, I will tell you, and a lot of people thought that this was just done specifically for the event, and it's not. This is what guests can expect every single time they arrive, not just at Port Everglades, but in Port Miami. And they are there to greet you as you enter on the ship, maybe with a featured cocktail. You get on board if you want to get a room. You can go to the front desk to purchase a cabin, or you can head to one of the restaurants. But we have unbelievable staff on board. They're from the Philippines. They're great. They're very well trained. And it's hospitality. This is what we're providing. We're providing an amazing experience. And we need great staff to do it. And we do. We have great people on board.
Right. And there are a lot of areas there where you could sit and relax. You know, you could find, whether it's in the dining area or as you're walking through. In fact, I think what impressed me is my husband and I were sitting in one little area, and he decided he wanted some ice cream. And you have a little locked container.
We do.
And it's his Haagen-Dazs or whatever it is. He loved it. He couldn't believe it. So nothing would do, and he asked the woman if she would, he gave the money. Well, she brought over the napkins, and she brought over drinks, and she just hovered over him, and I didn't know what was going on, but she was just being really nice. And there it is, just with a $4 ice cream bar.
Yeah, well, again, it's all part of the experience. Yeah, we don't just want you to get on board a ship that takes you to Bimini. We want your vacation, your daycation, your cruise we want the entire experience to begin the moment you board the ship, and that's what it's all about. We make sure we cover every single detail.
Okay, so now let's say, it's 12 o'clock, and we now get to go on the island. Wow. Bimini, the water is not to be believed. I mean, I don't know if there's another area. Is it all the Bahamas, or is it just Bimini that has that color blue?
I really, Bahamas in general do have beautiful water, but I think there's something specific about Bimini. The water is just an amazing blue. The sand feels like baby powder under your feet. It just draws you to want to stay on the beach and get in the water and perhaps do some water sports or just walk along the beach, just relax. It's beautiful. Everybody that I know that goes down there says exactly the same thing.
Right, you have to take your bathing suits because that's a must.
Yes, you do.
And you had these wonderful umbrellas on the beach. Mm-hmm. A lot of the people just rushed down there, and then we didn't see them again all day. They just hung around the beach.
That's what happens. I mean, part of what your entire experience entails, going over just for the day is, it's not just the cruise, but when you get to the resort, you also have tram service included. You have Wi-Fi, you have your beach chair, your beach towel, and you can do one non-motorized water sport as well. So if you like to kayak, if you like to paddleboard, you want to snorkel right off of the beach, because you can do that in Bimini. That's available for you. So we really want to make sure that your entire day is filled with something to do. I mean, you have 5-6 hours on the island now. So, if you don't want to go to the beach, you can go into town and you can experience the town, and you can go and dine in one of the many restaurants in town. I mean, you can have conch. We were talking about that. Where you can go to Nate's and get really good Bimini bread, pizza. Although people don't kind of associate Bimini with pizza, but Edith has a pizza restaurant where she actually uses Bimini bread and does a lobster pizza. She'll do a conch pizza and different varieties, but it's great. So you have that option of going into town, or you can just stay on the resort and not only do the non-motorized water sports, but you can jet ski, you can do a banana boat, you can go parasailing.
What's a banana boat?
Banana boat. You've never been on a banana boat?
Oh, I didn't do that.
So it's a boat in the shape of a banana. It's tied to the back of a jet ski. It holds about 4 people. Everybody gets on and holds on for dear life, and the jet ski goes, and it's pulling you about 20 or 30 miles an hour over the water. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh, I have to do that next time. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
so that's something that I missed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when we went into town, though, one thing I told my husband is I want a Bimini house. The architecture of Bimini in the new area that you have is gorgeous.
Yeah, no, the homes are beautiful.
And is this pretty much a resort community? Are people living there year round?
People, sometimes some people do. Some people just come back and forth. I mean, we are very close to Miami, or should I say South Florida, not just Miami, because we're going out of Port Everglades. But, we're 48 miles away. So it's like, driving from Miami to Fort Lauderdale or Miami to Boca. So you could have a home and go over on the weekends, which a lot of people do, or just go over on the holidays. The beautiful thing about Bimini is, being so close, what it does is it gives you Bahamas instantly. So you really have instant Bahamas from South Florida.
Instant Bahamas.
Yeah.
I want to keep telling everybody the name. It's called Resorts World Bimini Bahamas. And it is something pretty new now you've been running this out of Miami for about a year?
We've been running out of Miami since last year, correct. And we were going 7 days a week, and then we reduced service down to 3 days, with the expectation of going out of Fort Lauderdale, going out of Port Everglades. So kind of going after the 2 different markets, because it is a bit of a drive. Typically, people from Miami don't like to come up to Fort Lauderdale, and vice versa. So we are now going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday out of Fort Lauderdale, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday out of Miami.
Okay, I'm going to give some information so we can get the phones to ring, and I really suggest that you call. For those of you who would like to bring a group there, which is an excellent idea, the information number is 786-509-2401. Again, remember, this is Pencil Talk Radio. Write this number down. It's 786-509-2401, and you will be able to get all the information that you want. It is, as David Black said, and David is the Director of Sales for the Resorts World Bimini. It is so close, and here you are in Miami, and I was thinking about what you just said. I did see a seaplane there.
Yes.
and they come and go.
Yes,
and
they
we
do.
have a lot of people up in this area who do have their own private plane. Now, where would they land? Is there an airport?
There is an airport in South Bimini, and believe it or not, how long do you think it takes to get to Bimini on a plane?
What I mean, like maybe 30 minutes?
17 minutes. 17 minutes from takeoff to touchdown, and then you land in South Bimini. Bimini is made up of two different islands, separated by a very small channel. Yes, they are two. There are two islands. You land in South Bimini. You'll clear customs there, and then you'll be transferred over to the dock in South Bimini, and then you can either get on a boat that'll take you directly to the hotel, a smaller pontoon boat, or you can go into town and clear through Government Dock and then, take a stroll up through town so you get to see what Bimini is really all about before you get to the resort.
Okay, so now the one thing that actually we rode by, we didn't get in, was you do have a resort of sorts there now.
Correct.
But you're building a huge hotel and all. Why
We
don't you
are.
talk about all that?
We're very excited about this new property. It's going to be 305 rooms, several restaurants and bars. It's really going to be an amazing property. We're going to have a rooftop infinity pool with a gym and a spa. We're going to have 1 and 2 bedroom suites. The views are going to be island and marina views. It's going to be a very modern hotel, and we're very excited. I mean, it's really going to allow a lot more people to come to Bimini because now we have a lot more rooms to offer. And we're actually going to be opening that the first phase of that property towards the end of the year,
Really?
and then the phase 2, which will happen sometime in March or April, will be the completed section of the hotel. So it's going to be magnificent.
Well, I know that we have to talk about, I'd like to, Mr. Genting, is that how you pronounce it?
Genting.
Genting. I have heard so many things about him in Miami and what he's doing, and he bought the Miami Herald building, and
Yes.
he's from Malaysia,
Correct. Yes, the company is from Malaysia.
and I saw the architecture and the design is so Asian and so beautiful. I think you better get prepared for, you may need another ship eventually. I really believe you will.
Well, that might not be too far in the distance.
I know. I can see that happening because if you have one, you can't keep spreading it so thin. There'll be more people wanting to come out of the port of Fort Lauderdale.
Correct.
But it's really, I'm so glad to be like on the beginning, the beginning of something, and I know that's how you feel.
I do. I've been with the company for a year, and what's happened during that time, I mean, is amazing. I mean, every day is something new, and the cruise that you and I went on was a first for both of us because that was the opening of the pier of Port Bimini. Prior to that, as you know, and we've spoken about, we had to dock about a mile out, and we had to tender people in. So that really cut into your island time. That really cut into your instant Bahamas. You could see the island there, but yet you still had to be tendered in, and that was a 35 to 40 minute boat ride in. Now you get right off, you walk on the dock, the trams are right there to take you to paradise.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And the fact is, I don't know if other than Key West, which is very different, even though it's the United States. Driving down there, which from Miami takes about 4 hours. There isn't another place as close as this, I don't think.
No, there's
to
not.
get out of the country.
Yeah, you can actually
On
get
an island.
quicker to Bimini than you can to Key West. You're exactly right. It takes about 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah, it is, if the traffic is moving.
Yes. Yeah, and there isn't an accident.
No, you're right. And this is that's what's unique about this, that people want to go somewhere else. Like you call it a daycation, a staycation. whatever you wanna call it.
Staycation.
Right. Now, bus groups are available, and that's very important. That number that I'm going to give you again is, why don't you get a bunch of your friends and go. I guess you can, I don't know what the minimum amount, maybe it's 15 of them to go as a group, or is it 10?
Well, a group on board the ship is 20.
20, okay.
And if we're looking at doing, bus groups, we require a minimum of 30 people.
Okay.
You guys don't all have to know each other. As you can all get on the bus, and it's a great time. And again, this is all part of the service that we're trying to offer. Is we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you. So if you have a group of people, we have group rates available. We have special concessions and benefits for groups. We also offer a shuttle bus pickup if you don't want to drive from Broward all the way down to Port Miami. And we're going to have the same thing from Palm Beach and other areas where you can park your car in one destination. We'll have a bus there to pick you up, take you to either Port Everglades or Port Miami, and bring you back as well. So it really takes the stress out of the day. So if you live 15 or 20 minutes from the pickup location. It's a much easier drive than 40 minutes to an hour, especially coming back late at night after a long day too. So and we offer the same thing if you're staying locally in a hotel. We have hotel shuttle bus pickups too.
It's great. I know this is going to be a very successful operation. It's special, and I know people down here want to do things like this, but sometimes they don't want to go away for 2 or 3 days. They just want to go maybe one day, and maybe eventually they'll go stay there. But this is a nice way for everybody to get together. You know, you have the red hat ladies. Everybody's looking for something a little different. Mm-hmm. And this is very safe. That's what I want to assure everybody. I know that now, with everyone concerned a little bit about foreign travel, this is close to home. It's safe. You get right when you go down, at least to the port of Port Everglades. It was very easy. You parked your car easily, and you got right on to went to immigration. They just walked you right through, and you were on board. And the same thing happened when we were gone. So I'd never felt in any danger of any type.
No, and you wouldn't. And you're right. The security is there. The peace of mind is there. And it's an easy experience. Because it's so easy, it makes it feel safe.
Yeah, and that's what, an older person, someone who's in their 60s, 70s, 80s, they want to go away. And I also noticed something. You had wheelchairs.
We did.
I did. I noticed that when I was there. People were very comfortable, and they were being wheeled around. So it's what I know that our seniors are going to love this. I'm so glad you're offering this to them. Remember, it's called Resorts World Bimini Bahamas. And be one of the first to go on this. So now you're going to start out of Port Everglades on October
14th.
October 14th.
Which is a Tuesday.
Right, Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
And then it'll go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Correct.
But if you want to go down to Miami, you want to go to South Beach, you want to do some other things, you can then pick it up in the Miami with the new tunnel.
Exactly. and the good thing is too, if you want to go for more than a day, you can do that. So you can go out of Port Everglades and come back into Miami. So that option is there as well.
How can you do that? Oh, because you're going to stay there.
Correct.
Until come back on the day that they go to the Port of Miami.
Exactly. So if you want to leave from Port Everglades, you can go down to Bimini for 2 nights. But if 2 nights isn't enough, and oftentimes that's the truth, because when you get down to Bimini, 2 days just really isn't enough. You need at least 1 day just to relax and soak up the sun and really get used to what Bimini is all about, which is just to relax. So after 2 days, if you want to stay a 3rd or 4th day, you can come back into Miami, and we're looking into the options of running a shuttle bus from Port Miami to Port Everglades if that's where you parked your car. So again, trying to make it as seamless as possible for the guest.
Right. Or if you came with a bus, you could then take the bus back after you get to the port. There'll be another bus because you're making all those arrangements.
Correct. Exactly.
Your front desk was very good too. I mean, this is a small ship when you think about it, but it's really not. You said it holds 1,500 passengers.
Mm-hmm. Plus crew.
Mm-hmm. And the reception desk, they were all so nice and expert. I mean, I really look at that kind of a thing because that's what can make or break a trip.
Exactly. No, and it is. It's definitely a 5-star service all the way.
It really is. And you wouldn't expect that. I mean, because, look, we've all been on these local ships. We know about, I won't even name some of the ones. And they're kind of, on a scale of 1 to 10, you're like a 10. These were like 6s, if that. Mm-hmm. But that's not what this is, everyone. If you really want to go in a first-class ship, as I said before, it was a ferry ship in Germany, and it is just so safe and very beautiful. You've fixed up everything. I know that.
Yeah, we have.
Gorgeous.
And we have 2 really nice dining options as well. So again, you think cruise ship and you think buffet, and we do. We have a very nice buffet in Sailfish, but we also have Ponce de Leon, which is our a la carte restaurant. So you can sit down, order off of a menu, have that white napkin, that cloth napkin on the table, and the table service. You can order a bottle of wine or 2 or 3. It's up to you. And sit down and really enjoy. And you can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So even though, the ship does dock in Bimini, you don't have to get off if you don't want to. Some people enjoy the ship so much that they just stay on while it's in Bimini. Or if they've been 3 or 4 times and they just really enjoy the service and the crew, as we've been talking about, they can stay on board the ship if they want.
That's very important because some people, especially now it is warm, and they may not want to go off. And the trip over there is so pleasant, so they could be on there, have their fun. You're going to be planning weddings. I think that's a great idea. I saw that whole thing. I mean, imagine to have your I don't know if you want all your guests, if you want to pay for all your guests, but they can. It's not very expensive, but at least you could have the main people in the wedding party come on, and they could each get a cabin. And what a wonderful to get married on the beach in Bimini. Well, that wouldn't be bad.
And let me tell you, people do that right now. We have two or three weddings coming up next year so far that are over 200 people. And
200 people coming to the wedding in Bimini?
Yes, ma'am. 200 people.
So
I mean, you can, just the two of you, go down to Bimini and have a very small wedding. Absolutely. I mean, that's part of the beauty of a destination wedding. You can just go down, or you can bring everybody with you, and that's what these groups are doing. And again, the wedding experience, the vacation experience, doesn't start in Bimini. It starts the moment you board the ship. So imagine if you had 200 people, or if you had 100 people, or even 50 people, we could set up mimosas and cocktails for you as everybody gets on board the ship. We can set up a private table in the restaurant for the future bride and groom, and we can do some entertainment upstairs on deck 10. So there's a lot to do. So you're up early in the morning, you're on board the ship, and that's when the whole thing starts. And then the wedding party gets to Bimini, they debark, they get into their rooms, and the experience continues.
Right. So I want to do a website. So let's see what my website would be. Help me with that.
It is www.rwbimini.com.
Okay.
So it's rwbimini.com.
Yeah, okay. So it's rwbimini.com.
Correct.
rwbimini.com. Okay. And I'm looking for it here. It's not in here either. So we got to get it on the ad.
We do.
I don't think I see it on the ad unless I'm blind.
And it's a great new website. We actually just redid it, so it's very user friendly. And if you really want to, get a good feel for what the island has to offer, as well as the ship or the casino for that matter, you can go on and you can see all the pictures and everything.
Yeah, that's true. And then we all got a picture. When we went out. Do you do that normally with everybody, or was it just for the media?
Sometimes we do pictures on the way out. Absolutely.
Yeah, people like to have that as a memento. So the bus, you would make the arrangements. In other words, if I have a group, and I call your number, and I'll call that again. I'll tell you what it is. It's at 786-509-2401. And I call and I say, I have 50 friends, and we want to have it's some sort of a reunion. Will you make the arrangements for me?
We'll take care of everything.
Tell me what'll happen.
We'll take care of everything, and we can pick you up from a single location. Everybody can just kind of meet up in one location. We'll pick you up. We'll take you to the ship, and we'll bring you back. So we'll arrange the bus transfers and everything for you. So again, it's just really trying to make it as seamless as possible and as much fun and take as much headache out of the process as, for the client. Now, if they don't want to call that number, they can also call our toll-free number, which is 888-930-8688. And that'll take you into general reservations, so you can get more information on the ship and or the hotel.
Okay, I see that. 888-930-8688 is the general one, and is rwbimini.com is what your website is. I see all that here. Okay, so I think this is a whole new exciting thing for us here in South Florida. I mean, I've lived here a long time, and if I wanted to go on a ship somewhere, other than going to the Bahamas, which is kind of old hat now, it's not the same. This ship is fast, and it's really motionless. I'm very attuned to something that's motionless, and I didn't even feel anything.
No, and you wouldn't. The ship has a very deep hull, so it handles, if there is any rough weather, it handles it very well. So you really don't get that motion that gives you seasickness at all.
Yeah, and it's very pretty. As a matter of fact, the red with the...
It's a red and white ship. You can't miss it.
No,
when it's in Port Everglades, it really does stand out. When it's in Port Miami down at Terminal H, it really stands out as well. So, if you haven't seen it already, believe me, now that we're talking about it, I'm sure you'll notice it the next time you're either in Miami or in Fort Lauderdale.
Well, and also in the October issue, on the cover, you're going to see a picture of the ship. That's one of our images, so we are going to put that. And also, I have all these conch shells in a picture. I don't know where I'm going to put that yet, but it's going to go somewhere. That was a very unique experience. Now, one thing they have are these also, as most islands have, they have shopping. And they have all sorts of little hats you can buy, and you can buy stuff for your kids, and you can buy the dresses and the jewelry. That's always around. But the music is beautiful. And what kind of music do you call that?
Well, usually in the Caribbean, it's either reggae or it's soca or steel pan.
Steel pan.
Right.
That's when we were having lunch, I think, that they were doing that. And what would the food in Bimini? It would be fish. Where are they catching the fish there? Is that...
Of course.
So that's really the fish. When you're in Bimini, you want to eat fish.
You want to eat fish, or you want to eat conch. I mean, most people really enjoy the conch in Bimini. And as you said, conch fritters. You can have conch salad, conch ceviche. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that they can cook the conch in the island.
Right, and so the restaurants now, when you're there, if you're not eating on the ship, where are you going to eat? Did the casino have... I know the hotel will have it once it's up.
The hotel will have several restaurants, actually. But currently you have Hemingway's in the casino, which gives you, more of an international cuisine. You have Healing Hole right now, which is more of your more like bar food, hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken, skewers, that sort of thing. You have Sabor, which is steak and seafood, very nice. And you also have the Beach Club, which again offers more of a casual dining.
Isn't that where we were we had the big event where we
Correct.
all ate?
Everybody was at the Beach Club, exactly. Right. And they had a very nice buffet put out with a different potato salad, and I think you had some chicken and some conch.
We did.
And, a few other things out there. And you had ribs as well, too,
Yeah, it was great. And I applaud you for doing this. I know that it's a new venture in a sense to go now to Port Everglades, but I think it's the right move because we have so many people in Palm Beach County who feel like their port up there can't handle something like this.
Right.
So I guess we're about to say goodbye, Lisa. But goodbye, hello. But David Black, thank you so much for being here with us. And remember, everyone, go to rwbimini.com.
Correct. And thank you for having me.
It was a great pleasure.